From my perspective, again, we've got about half an hour just to go through some of these. If anyone can't hear me or has any issues, obviously drop it in a chat, and my colleagues will help out where they can, and I'll stop if necessary. If anyone's got any questions as well, I'll try and take them at the end, or answer if I see them pop through as we go. But yeah, as Liam has said, the session is we've won the account. Now, how do we service them? So this is very much a case of around about account management. That's the principle, and how to keep your customers. Obviously, the old saying is always the way, where it's more expensive to win a new customer than keep a customer. So I'll go through a couple of areas and highlight a few points of how we manage customers using Dynamics 365. So just go through. So yeah, I'm Jason. I've been around at Techman for a little while now. So I'm currently, and I work as the head of CRM within Techman, and also I've got a bit of a commercial background previously as well. So I'm going to go through the rest of the session. So just the housekeeping pieces. Can you hear me? Is everything clear? We've got half an hour, and there's Q&As. I will stop on afterwards if anyone does have any questions, just in case anyone wants an open conversation for 10-15 minutes afterwards as well. So what we'll cover, the challenge in principle around account management and keeping customers happy and serving customers. The solution in terms of what do we use to bring this all together in a central place. The demonstration. So I'll go into some product as well in the time that we've got, and Q&As at the end. So again, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek to an extent here, and I've spent years previously being on a commercial side and to an extent being a salesperson, and winning the deal is the easy part. I guess sometimes I would say that's not always the way, from having done that role, but in principle the big picture is it is, because as easy as you can win them, you can lose them as well. And the reality is that a lot of businesses don't see value or profit in the first couple of months out of a customer, or not as much profit as you would like. And it's always about the long-term relationship, grow them, and they'll then end up being mutually beneficial for you. So that means keeping your customer happy, but importantly, not just happy, but progressive. Because if they're happy and say, yeah, you're doing what I ask, but you're not taking them on the journey with you, then how are they being progressive with what you do for them and what you sell to them? And how are you also being progressive as a business to take you to the next level? So it's in both your interests. It's both integral to both your successes. So the whole, how do you service them? How do you work with the customer? Obviously, this is not teaching granny to suck eggs kind of principle, but it is worth kind of just repeating and reiterating what you have to go through. And you do a transaction with them. That's great. In a B2B environment, and to an extent of some B2C environments as well, you want to understand their business or them as an individual. You want to understand their habits. You want to understand their objectives. Where are they going as a business? And how can you help them get there? Opposed to just going, do you want something? Yes, no, do the transaction. It needs to be more than just a transactional relationship, especially to grow with them and have a fruitful relationship with your customers. Again, you want to grow revenue with them. The first time that they purchase, you don't want it to be the only time. You need to understand their buying habits. Are they a type of business that will buy every month from you? Are they a type of business that will buy every 6 months or every year? How does that work? And you might have a lot of different people in your organization that interact with that customer. They need to be able to understand what their buying habits are, and also what their culture is as a business as well, not just they place an order through that person. You need to manage their queries. You need to manage their issues. It's every customer has issues. So every supplier has to deal with issues. Some of those may be kind of relatively straightforward. Some of them might be absolute stinkers, and they might cause absolute frustration. Every business gets them. But what makes your relationship is how you deal with them. Everybody's human. Everybody understands that everybody makes a mistake. Everyone understands that something doesn't go right or things can go wrong from time to time. But if you turn it round, make that experience as, how's best to put it, as least painful as possible, then the reality is that they'll forgive you and quickly move on. Don't deal with it properly, and that's going to sit in someone's mind for a very long time. So you're always on the back foot. So is it value adding on both sides? I think every profit-making business, supplier and customer relationships, everybody really understands that everybody needs to make money. Everybody needs to make sure it's mutually beneficial. Yes, we negotiate. Yes, some people drive harder bargains than others, but everybody knows that without people making money, there's no point in doing what we do. So it's trying to have that honest relationship as well with each other. Be transparent, but being transparent means you have to understand the background and you have to understand exactly what pushes each other's buttons. So keep them informed and updated on what you're doing. The last thing that a lot of customers want, especially now during kind of this current pandemic with COVID-19, you can't just go, do you want this? We'll give you a 20% discount. Do you want it now? The deal's until the end of the week. There's a lot of people that will switch off to that moment at the moment. So from our perspective, you need to use this moment to educate people, talk about people's challenges. So and ask them, what challenges do you have at the moment during COVID-19? What do you need to try and get over? Where do you want to go to? How do you think you're going to change your business plan? And then you can start to have conversations with them to say, well, actually, how do I overcome their challenges and how can we help? That might indirectly lead to a sale, but you're building up trust. You're informing them of how you can help. So it's the kind of the softly education, informative, but also just to keep people up to date. We are doing this month. What is our monthly newsletter? We're doing a webinar on a new product release. These are just generic things to keep people enriched with what you do as a business. Because if you don't keep them up to date, they'll soon have a butchers at something else and look at something else and go, well, that other supplier seems to be giving me a lot of information about this. My current supplier doesn't. Do you know what? I'll give them a go. They might be more expensive, but I'll give them a go because they seem more proactive. So again, all those pieces, you need to understand what pushes each other's buttons and also have to have that big picture available. Because if you don't, unfortunately, someone else will. So hopefully that all makes logical sense. You're not just there to take the transaction. You're not just there to say, yes, we've solved it. You want to understand and make a relationship with your customers. But at the same time, I'll also say if you don't communicate, and all this comes back to communication, if you don't communicate with your customers properly, how do you know if your customer is going to be long term? How do you know if your customer is happy with you? How do you know if your customer has actually got a new project or a new business objective that means them that they can do more work with you? If you don't talk to them, you'll never know. If you don't be proactive with them, you'll never know. So you need to be able to fundamentally, out of all this, you need to be able to manage your clients, have the right visibility at the right time. Now, currently, that could be an amalgamation of lots of people in emails, talking to lots of people at your customer, and no one is joined up. One issue over here could be an opportunity over here, and all of a sudden you're trying to push a sale, but you've got a fundamental problem that actually, if you don't get that solved, there's no point in trying to sell to them. At the same time, there could be other situations as well that you need to understand the big picture. They haven't taken product X in the last 4 months. So why at the next meeting are you trying to push product X? If you see another incline on another product or another service that's taking, why aren't you talking about that and understanding why that they're taking that? So the back end to this is that, yes, a CRM system can do opportunity management and lead management and stuff like that, but that's what I'm not going to concentrate on today. I'm going to concentrate on the service side and the account management piece. So yes, it's a SaaS platform. Yes, it's from Microsoft, a bit like Business Central. It's a subscription. The backbone to a CRM system is accounts and contacts. I won't have time today, but in short, it integrates into Business Central. So you've got one version of the truth between your accounts and your contacts. You've then got areas where you can sync across your sales history into your CRM system. So when you talk about, I walk into a meeting and go, well, what did you last buy? How much have you bought this year? And you've got the transactional history inside your CRM to then give you the additional information around your relationship that sits within CRM. So I'm starting to build a picture. You've got your central place for the visibility to have the conversation at the right time. So 15 minutes in worth of slides, I guess. Now the remaining kind of 10-15 minutes will be in kind of product. So first of all, I'm going to cover cases and what a case means in terms of serving customers on queries and issues, etc., and what that means, what the system can offer. And then I'll also then go into account management in terms of how you can deal with account management and be proactive with your customers, and that's driven out of your system so you don't miss the ability to want to talk to your customers. So let me just drop out of here and just load this. So again, here I've got Dynamics 365, and then I've got some tabs just open at the moment. This is an account form. The principle of this account form, all I'm going to show you is just the proof in the pudding without going into the detail. I've got Dynamics 365 Business Central here that I've set up. If I clicked on that button, it would open Abbey Logistics Group in Business Central. It would open that account for me directly from within CRM. So the integration is there as standard with Microsoft. So you've got this one single view of your customers that you can easily gain access to. Going into a different area now, it's the same principle, it's just a different view. I'm just going to go into cases. So off the left hand side in CRM, I can tailor what I see, whether I work in customer services, sales, etc. But I'm going to go into cases, and just something I prepared earlier. So if I go into cases, I get my user, I get a dashboard. Now that dashboard could be varied depending on my role. So I can see it could be my customers, my cases, or my customers, all cases. It could be all customers, all cases. So you can see I've got different views here of looking at cases. If I went down here, I could be a manager and I could say, well, actually, who's submitted the most cases? I've got 12 active under me, resolved. I've got cases, 3 in total. And again, I can see here, I've got a lot of different analysis that I can get, completely tailorable. So I can understand how many queries, cases, issues my customers are logging, but also who's dealing with them. And importantly, who's dealt with them, so what's complete and what's open. And if I was to click into 12 active ones, I'd be able to see which are active and why are they active. So if I then just go into cases for a second and go into a case. So a case in the system is anything that a customer wants to log a problem, a complaint, an issue. So in this example, I've got products have arrived damaged. Now, historically, you might have an Excel spreadsheet that logs just the cases and just something to go through. Or you might have an email inbox that you might have contact us at, or issues or customer service at company.co.uk. Now, that's great. It might be a shared mailbox, but how do you understand who's working on it, what's been dealt with, what the progress is on it? And then the idea is who's communicating back to the customer to tell you or to tell them where you are with that problem and what was the resolution as well. So here I've got a simple case form, which is completely tailorable. but I've got a case title, I've got a case number. So that is a unique ID that can be sent to the customer. So automatically when a case is raised, you can send a case to a customer. We've logged your case. This is the case title. This is your case ID. Ever want to come back and check on it? Quote this reference. Subject is to do with delivery. So the idea is if I was on a case and I wanted to look at reporting based on all my cases that have got delivery issues with them, and all of a sudden you then might want to then drill down going, well, I use UPS or I use FedEx or it's our own. And actually it was based in the Northwest. So it's the Northwest route that causes the problem. Well, hold on a second. Why is there a pattern here and how can we solve it? So this isn't just about looking at the case and recording it. It's communicating with the customer, but it's been able to log it, identify patterns and make sure they don't happen again. Because then you will give a better customer experience to be able to serve your customer and reduce the number of issues. It's not realistic to think you're going to get rid of all issues, but what you want to do is stop a customer going, well, I logged that issue last month, I've logged it this week, and why is there a pattern? Why haven't you solved my fundamental problem? Because repeat cases will cause frustration. So again, who's the customer? Where did it come from? What product? So again, that is a product that currently comes from my Business Central system. So I have linked my product set from Business Central into CRM. So again, I'm not having to manage two lists of products. If they had an entitlement so they could log 10 cases a month, I would be able to use that as well. I can put descriptions in and I can put more information in. Again, timeline, it will tell me in the timeline if I've got record type. So at the moment it's just a post, but I can tag emails against this case. So I can link it to Outlook. I can link it to phone calls. I can link it to meetings. If a meeting was required, because it was such a severe case, I can link it to the case as well. Recent cases, and I can also put recent cases here. The reason for recent cases is that it can also understand of what other cases have they logged recently in a very simple way of finding it. So I can see that I've got other cases against this account open at the moment called unable to create account. So it's just demo material. But at the same time, I can get a holistic view and a very central view of how noisy is this customer. I can also have down here, I can have associated cases where it will look across my entire case portfolio of other customers or other cases in general and go, based on this criteria here that I'm defining, what are similar cases? Click on it and it might help me solve this case quicker. So the system is trying to help you solve cases quicker as well by pointing you to other records that might be of use. Now I can also add SLAs into it. I don't have any there, but I can add an SLA that says my first response is in an hour. My target solved case of delivery is within 1 day. So again, I can create whether it's a delivery or a product issue or an invoice issue or just an other issue. I can set SLAs against all of them. I might not publish those to my customer, but I might use them as targets internally. So again, trying to deliver better customer experience so your customer knows you are being on the ball with them. So you are serving your customer in the best way possible. At the top, one of the powerful things about using the customer service aspect of CRM, you've got a business process flow, which is completely tailorable. So if it's a delivery issue, it might have these 3 stages. If it's a product issue, it might have 10 stages or 1 stage, but I can capture different information at each stage. So again, very simple at the moment for the process of a demo. At the same time, the system will log how long it has been at each stage. So I can report how long of the cases, how many cases have been open for longer than 20 hours at investigation stage. And all of a sudden you can sit in a weekly review with your customer service team and go, or your reps and go, why has this been open so long? What's stopping us from getting this to a stage further to being closer to closing it for the customer? So that's kind of case management in terms of managing cases, queries. In terms of how they come in the system, it could be they come into a central email. It could then end up in a queue in the system. And either what you could do, there's functionality here that says based on it being this type of case from this person, you could automatically assign it to, I don't know, Jason. If it was another case based on invoice query, I might automatically assign it to Liam. So I don't even have to go and route the cases. I can configure it to automatically route the cases and land in somebody's pot. So it's not going to get missed or just sit there waiting for someone to deal with either. Trying to, again, be proactive, so you're serving your customer in the most lean way possible. Again, all about the customer experience. If they see that you're actively doing something about it, that's fine. They might not be overly happy, but if they can see that something's happening or something's been progressed, they're far more comfortable than just seeing they know that they've logged it. At the same time, that case number, you could have a workflow that says when it's logged, send them a case. When it's at investigation stage, send them another email to say, we've moved your case to investigation stage. It is now being dealt with by another person. Just to let you know, we'll be in contact again when it moves to the next stage, just to let you know what the resolution is. Again, keeping you up to date. It's just standard configuration. So that's a case, and obviously the reporting that's associated with it. There is a concept called omni-channel with customer service and dynamics. Omni-channel means that you receive cases from multiple sources. So not just an email or not just a phone call. If you've got somebody on your website with a chat function on your website and they want to submit a case, or they want to moan about something, or they want to ask a question, you can have a pop-up screen in here which allows a agent, someone in your business, to accept that chat and be using CRM inside of CRM to respond to that chat. They might just go close chat and you create a case off it. It then links the chat history against that case. You can also do it where you are linking it to WhatsApp as well. If some businesses log queries through WhatsApp, you can integrate WhatsApp into this. You can integrate Facebook Messenger into this. You can integrate Twitter into this. So again, multiple sources, the omni-channel. There is different ways that people can communicate with you and exercise or state what their problem or their query is. But fundamentally, going back to what I said at the start, it is in one central place. All the data, all the information, all the stats, all the categorization is here. So when you want to understand what you have been doing with that customer or what they've been talking about, you don't just have to go to Facebook Messenger. You don't have to go to your chat system. You don't have to then look at your CRM, look at your Outlook, look at an Excel spreadsheet. The idea is it is in one place, so you can be proactive. So that's cases. There's a lot more behind cases as well, and I could spend a long time talking about this. But I'm going, for the purpose of time as well, just over 5 minutes left. I'm going to move on to now account management. So if I then go on to account management here, so there's an icon here. So this is something that Techman has created and put into, that's going to, well, is being made available to customers. So within standard CRM from Microsoft, you've got sales management, basic marketing, customer cases, etc., which are all tailorable, which are all configurable. What we've added is account management, account plans. So the idea is you don't just want to pick up and create an opportunity when someone asks you to, or you take wind of there's an opportunity coming, so you put one in. You want to be able to, or you go and create a case off the back end of a meeting, an ad hoc meeting. What you want to be able to do is create account plans and have account management. So you might categorize your accounts: platinum, gold, silver, bronze, key accounts, standard accounts, whichever way you categorize your accounts. Again, that's filterable and tailorable in the system. But what we've added is a function, an area where you can create account plans. So if I was to open an account plan, and this is designed as a framework more than anything. So I walk into an account plan here for, in this position, open house products. So I have the concept of an account plan. It has a name, the detail of who it's for. I have a plan start date. Now that could be a calendar year. It could be a fiscal year. The system can adopt either. We have a primary contact that our account plan is with. So the main contact that you have at that business. We could make it multiple contacts. We could have it then at the overall, at the start of the account plan, what's that customer status? Are they shrinking in terms of your work with them? Are they stable? So it's kind of the run of the mill. They more or less churn out the same kind of revenue, cases, issues, etc. year on year, or are they growing? So again, you can then identify that based on, you can then report on that accordingly to say, well, of all my accounts and my account plans, where have I started? Too many are shrinking, many are stable, many are growing. Again, do I then need to put more work into the shrinking ones? So if I just put stable, I've got relationship strength at the start. Now, we've toyed whether it's stars or whether it's a rating and a drop down of strong, stable, at risk, whichever. But here there's stars. So at the start of the relationship, it could be it's okay. Middle is okay. Relationship to the last visit, I'll come on to that in a second. Relationship at the start, stable, growth expected this year. I've just put something very simple in. And then relationship last visit, they're shrinking due to COVID-19. So anybody can walk into this area and they can look at what the account plan is and see at a very high level, what's the status of the engagement with these guys. Then at the whole level, I can have objectives against the account as well for the year of the account plan. So specifically, I've got here, I've got new and current objectives. If I add last year's account plan, I'll be able to see last year's and if they were won or met. So here I've got grow account plan by 20% in product X, Y, and Z. Look to expand upon details so you can put information in there. Reduce delivery cases by 15%, too many delivery problems in 2019. I can then manage those and I can then go into them and I can say whether they are met or not met. If they are not met, I then have to put a reason in behind it of why they were not met. So again, opposed to just being about the here and now with a customer, think about the objectives with a customer and what you want the relationship to be on both sides of the fence and put that there and put that visible to everybody. Everybody in your organization can see that. Then against every account plan, obviously you're going to have reviews or meetings or visits, whatever you want to call it against them. You then have an account review. So here I've got May 2020 and June 2020. If I just go into June for now, just for the purpose of time, but here, what I can also do is I can get the system to pre-populate. If it is a gold customer and I have to, on a gold customer, I have one meeting or one review with them every month, I can get the system to auto-populate all 12 reviews. So they are there. So all you need to go and do is firm up the dates for them and who's going to be present. So you will see here on the right hand side that I will see all account plan reviews that are currently in this account plan for the year. I can obviously structure and say based on a gold customer it's once a month, based on a silver customer it's once a quarter, based on a bronze customer it's once every 6 months. So it will structure that for me, but at the same time I can go in and add ad hoc ones if I need to as well. But I will see the summary of all of them on the right hand side. If I then go into June 2020, I've got the details of the actual visit or the review, whether it's phone call or whichever it is, and who it's done by. So again, this is a framework. Importantly to say this is a framework. So people take this and tailor it and adopt it and change it slightly for what people need. So it's my June 2020 review. It's part of my 2020 account plan. The due date, let's just say, is going to be by the 21st. My required attendees, I could have multiple, so I could, let's just go and add myself in. So I've got multiple attendees at this account review. What's the purpose? It's an account review for this purpose. Obviously, links against the account, start time, end time, optional attendees as well. I've got relationship strength. So at the end of this meeting, I need to say what my relationship strength is going to be. So I'm going to say, actually, it's really good. If it's the last account review in the plan, I would click yes. And what that would do, it would automatically close down that account plan altogether. And it would enable me only now to post in 2021 account plan. So based on the process of this account plan, is an escalation required? Because there's a problem or there's an issue or there's something good that we want to tell somebody. I can put yes. Upon that, what it will do is if this lives to me, let's just say for the purpose of the demo, I might say, because you've heard Liam speak, I might escalate that to Liam. So all of a sudden, at the point I mark that complete and an escalation required, it sends a summary in an email to Liam of that account review. I might have to say underneath, I might have an extra field. If I say yes, what do I want to escalate exactly to? Now, I've accidentally just clicked save, but the points I'll continue to go through. Underneath, raise case. So I've got here is I might have a conversation, an account review with them going, they've issued me a problem. Delivery on product AB23 last week didn't came damaged. Wants a refund. If I was to do that, when I completed the account review, I would trigger off a flow in the background that would automatically create a case and be assigned to a customer service rep or somebody in the system. So I'm not just going to go, right, I've captured it there. I then go and link it to a case as well. And I can say the source of that case was the account review. Same on the opportunity. Yes, you want to understand the relationship, but you might get an opportunity out of the review or the visit or the meeting as well. Wants to look at pricing for product X, 400 of them. That could automatically, again, go and create a flow to automatically create an opportunity for you and allow a task for someone to go and follow up. Again, off the back end, I can go and create a number of actions. So a generic number of actions as well. So go and send them sales literature, go and send them this information, go and give them details to who they should speak with about this invoice query. So I can create a number of actions that then sit against me as the account owner as well. And I can have to complete them. And until all those actions are complete, I can't close this review down. I might go and give that action to somebody else. Again, I can report on all these outstanding actions in the system as well. So from my perspective, it's a central place to manage the review. Again, this is an appointment in the system. So the idea is as soon as this appointment is created, I can then go and send an appointment request in an Outlook calendar to me and to all these people. So that appointment sits in people's Outlook calendars as well. So it's all integrated together. So again, I can report obviously everything that's in the account plan. It can be adapted, it can be extended. The idea is it's a framework that TechMan have put together so you can be proactive with your customers and you have a central place to understand your objectives and your communication with your customers. Opposed to in a standard piece in CRM, if I just go to a standard account and let's just go back to Abby, for example. In fact, I'll go here. If I was wanting to just record an interaction or a meeting with them, I would see it here. I would just see a lot of information here. So appointment for May 2020 review. Now you can see it's scheduled, but I've got a lot of other stuff underneath here. So I'm splitting out the account plan specifically in the system so it's easily visible of how I am working with this account, as well as all the other standard tools and features CRM gives you. So from that perspective, I'm conscious of time, but that's what I wanted to cover. So account management, TechMan's solution sits inside of CRM, managing account plans, visits, reviews, making them work for you, make them be proactive, automatically schedule them, make actions against it, make objectives against it. As well, depending on if the customer has Power BI, within that account plan form, we will have a level where underneath the account plan summary, there will be Power BI dashboards that will say outstanding revenue or outstanding cases, outstanding opportunities, so you can visually see them as well. And as well, on the main account form, you can see Power BI embedded dashboards around year to date on revenue, products, etc., etc. And of course, first of all, I covered cases. So being able to create a case, manage a business process flow, categorize against it so you can report on it, and essentially enable you to be proactive with your customers and ensure your customer experience is on top of its game. Because people know, like I say, people can drop the ball, but it's how you deal with it. So using a tool like this allows you to deal with it in an effective way. Now, again, you may have different types of CRM solutions already there, but think about how they can do this type of function for you. Or if you use CRM already, think about how you can take it a step further if you don't already, to fundamentally get the right customer experience and always improve upon it.